Hello, everybody. Okay, while he's off scoping out his little hunting site or whatever, he's not hunting, he just likes to watch the deer. I am in the van. Let's get a Perif. That's the trophy that he won for the motorcycle build he did and put in the motorcycle show this year. He built us a partition with a door so we can have it all closed off while we're in here changing. And there's a little, down there's a little water cupboard. And then he built this up here. That's a little mini pantry. And then he cut out these wood things to stick here. I just took this one down so you could see in here. These are, because it's bright when we go camping and stuff. We always end up parking where the moon like shines in. And look at the freaking light is making it so you can see the gray that I have really good. I need to dye my hair. There's a few friends that I have where they're young looking and their hair is just like wildly out of control with white hair, and they're young face still. So I would just hold on to that as long as possible, and I just don't do it because my water source is not good enough that I can like do that kind of rinsing, hair rinsing. But maybe I'll do it outside. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, knitting stuff. All right, let's change the camera. Okay, so I'm using my mermaid yarn, and it is softer. This stuff is softer, you guys. I'm keeping it in here because the bag that I'm using, it's not dirty. It's just scratched from using it on so many projects. It used to be clear. So the Red Heart Super Saver Biddy Stripes, I didn't know this was a new yarn. I just thought it was just another thing. And it's softer than most Red Heart yarn. Like the Red Heart 1 pound, for some fucking reason, is soft in general, but all the ones that are small or ones with color are always so scratchy. But this isn't. This is not. Like the best knockoff or the best cheap yarn to get is actually I find the Walmart brand yarn is actually very, very soft. But this is beautiful. It's the mermaid colorway, and it is the Super Saver Biddy Stripes. This is nice. Like, it's soft enough that I'm not going to need to, like, multiple wash the shit out of this. I have my backup yarn in this thing. I got this from Bimart for, like, $20. There was, like, 3 colors, but the colors were this and navy and pink, I think it was. But I'm not going to have pink stuff, and I would rather have something spunky like lime green. I am saddened because I started my knitting project, the blanket. I decided on a corner to corner. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. I had to do the lean and sneeze so I didn't pee, so I had to pause. Okay, so I started out on my Marbles fixed circulars, and it's the 8 5mm. That's what it says to use for this yarn. And usually I'll go up a size because I like things to be drapey more, but I actually gave it a chance and used the correct size. Dang it. Okay. I woke up and my nose was stuffy and now I'm sneezing. Anyway, there's the outdoors. That is not our campfire. We do not use those. We use a propane thing. Our skylight. The only thing that saves me at night is the noise of that fan because I hate silence. So I'm using these, and I graduated to a bigger, a longer cord. I made the project big enough from 1 to like 9 last night, messing around and stopping and starting. And so I graduated to a bigger thing, and then I go in here into my beautiful Rolly makeup case thing that I use for I have a crochet hook one, and I have a knitting needle one. And I've got all of my interchangeable ones right here, and the fixed ones and the cords and stuff are there, and then the notions are kind of at the end. And I was looking in here, and you can see that I have the rainbow wood ones, and I have the marbles. Those are my 2 favorite sets. And I go to switch because I've been using these purple ones. I have an interchangeable set of the purple. And so I was like, well, I've already been using these purple ones. and they are purple. Right now it's looking violet, but they're purple in real life. I've been using these, so I was like, ooh, this gives me a chance to use, my rainbow wood set. So I started looking for them, and I'm missing one of the two 5mm one. So I was like, well, crap, I really wanted to get to use them. And there is in one of the spots on this thing, there's a hole in the plastic, and I didn't notice it. I don't remember where it is, but there's like a mini hole in the thing, but on one of the other spots. I'm pretty sure it's on right here. So it's on this pouch. It's on the Notions pouch. But I have millions of little things in here. And so if opening and closing and opening and closing and opening and closing, like just going like this to it a bunch of times makes it, break. Geez, but there's no hole in this one. Sometimes when you're holding them in a bundle and you're like trying to look through colors, they slip out the center, like if they're a little looser. Maybe I dropped one sometime, but I'm missing those. So anyway, no big deal. It's a big deal, but it's not. So let me show you my work. Let me pause for a second. Okay, so here we go. So I wanted to make a blanket. I have 4 skeins of this yarn. There's the 1, 3, and there's the other one. And maybe this pillowcase is actually washing it out. Let's see here. Hold on. I thought it would be better, but maybe not. Okay. There we go. It's a little better. Anyway, so it's like teal, but there's like a stripe of kind of white in it. Like every strand has white kind of like tie-dyed in with it. And then it goes to like, it's like teal, then lighter teal, then like a baby blue, and then kind of a jeans material, and then kind of a purple jeans material, color, and then light lavender and whitish, and then it goes back into the teal, and it's so pretty. It looks great on both sides. Like it's super beautiful. So I researched a bunch of patterns, as I always do, for hours. And I wanted to do something that I knew, because every time I make a blanket in the rectangular shape or the school, when I make a blanket like this and just keep going upward, I always make it too wide, and then the width becomes the length, and it stresses me out to cast on that many in the beginning. If I'm going to work on it at work, I need something that's not like insanely large. So I was like, well, I'll do a corner to corner. But I really, really love doing eyelet with knitting. It's just so fun to me. I feel like I'm some sort of mega genius super knitter whenever I do eyelets like a pro or whatever. So I looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't find any corner to corner eyelet that was, because I know how to do corner to corner knitting, but I couldn't find anywhere where anybody was doing this on the videos, and I didn't want to pay $11 for a pattern that just teaches you where to start the eyelet. Like, I know all the rest of it. I know how to do the eyelet. I know what pattern I wanted. I wanted to do the eyelet with stockinette. I knew all of that stuff. So I just kind of came up with it. And so I just kind of started down here and just kind of counted and hoped for the best. And then every row up, just continue on. I've only made one mistake, and that's pretty good for me. And it was only that when you make this, you have to have the 3 bumps, like, each bump is like 2 rows. Well, I saw the 3 and I just was like, oh, it's time to make the eyelet row. But I forgot that the eyelet row is the knitting on one side, not the when you see the bump on that side. So I accidentally made one row too soon. And so I ripped that out and then did the plain stockinette one more row and then did it, and it worked. It fixed itself because I accidentally started one row too early. I was like, the count is off when you get to the end. But this is going to be a corner to corner. I was trying to find a blanket because of how good this marbles. I was trying to find a blanket where I would make little bits and they would kind of turn, but they all are not what I wanted to look at. Like, I didn't think they looked nice for this yarn. It would have been a cool idea. I just didn't want to have to flip my project over back and forth so soon, because there's ones where you do that kind of square spiral blanket, which looks really cool, but I'm having to work on this like at home in a small space and at work in a little chair in a locker room. So, like a captain's chair in a locker room. So, I needed it to not be, fiddly and flipping back and forth so soon. And each row takes a minute because for some reason my hands are falling asleep like super, super bad. My hand is currently asleep that's holding this phone in a way that like it's spiking and burning. That's the only thing that wakes me up in the middle of the night now that I have the CPAP thing, is my limbs being asleep and them burning so badly. Isn't this beautiful? It's so fun. There's one where the pattern is just a regular square shape. It's not the corner to corner. I don't know what you call it. Why can't I remember that? I know knitting terms. Anyway, the person has knit it, and it has like a bottom border that's probably like 8 rows or 16 rows. Yeah, because it was 8 bumps. It's like 16 rows, and the border on the sides was like 5. And then they did knitting, like a regular knit stitch, and then they, wherever the eyelet was, they did a, purl row, like a stockinette row before this started, and then one after, and then they went back to the regular knit stitch. And it looked cool, but I like blankets that are really, really spongy. So I didn't want it to be, the knit stitch flat. I wanted it to be like plump. So hopefully after I make this blanket, we will actually use it. Every time I make a blanket, I don't want it to get dirty because everything we do is outside. So, and then inside, he's messy. So, oh yeah, I forgot to also say, so I'm missing the other one of these. So in a twist of fate, I'm getting to use both colors on my project. And I'm sad because, like, look at the mega point on that thing. That is, like, really nice. And this, although these slip and slide well, and I really love them, their point is, where's a dark spot? Their point is kind of blunt. It's never gotten in the way before, but it is super fun, like, actually slipping with this and, like, having this mega point. Like, it's sharp. You could hurt somebody with this thing. But yeah. Okay. So I just put my jammies on. We woke up and we're at a campsite where it's overrun with crazy people. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.